Can you count these and write the number, please? The student will record the number that they count, and as the teacher, you also need to record how many pens they count. Observe how the student counts the pens. Do they group them in ones and count one at a time? Do they count in twos? Do they group them? What patterns do they use to count the pile of pens? Record the number the student counted and also get the student to record the number of pens they counted. If the student incorrectly counts the pens, you might prompt them. How might you check that you have 22 pens? Now that we have established that we have 22 pens in that pile, I would circle the ones and ask the student, how does this number relate to the total number of pens that you have in the pile? Record their response. Next, how does this number relate to the total number of pens that you have? Record their response for this question as well. Now we're going to remove some single pens and add some bunched pens. Ask them, using these materials, can you make 22, please? Observe and record the student's response as to whether they can identify that the pens are bundled in tens, or whether they count the individual pens, or do they unbundle the pens to make more individual pens. Next, ask them, can you explain why you used the bundled, the individual, pull the bundles apart, etc. to make this number? This will display whether the student used a base 10 numeration strategy to construct the number 22, and therefore indicate whether they understand the difference between the ones and the tens in determining place value. Essentially, the pens work similar to MAB blocks in the classroom. As we don't have access to MABs, pens are a good alternative. They also stop the student from flying into autopilot, where they see MABs and they know how to group them because they've done it so many times in class. So the pens are like the blocks, the single blocks, and this pile is like one tens block of MABs, and one single pen like this has a ones block of MABs. Just another way to solidify the concept without using prompts like MABs